I just wanted to start with, obviously, the way you finished the season. The 2 defeats in the league and then the defeats as well in the first leg of the playoff semi-final. What kind of a job did you have to do with the players to kind of turn that around and make sure they were in the mindset to show the character that they did to bounce back and then that place at Wembley?
Yeah, I think one thing is sure that we learned from the Stoke game, we learned from the Barnsley game, we learned from the first leg against Swansea, and all those experience made us progress a bit from game to game. And what we did was, of course, I prepared a few things I wanted to say to the players after each game. For example, I think actually we took the Stoke game out of context. If you look that back and didn't know there was anything at stake, you see it a game where we were a bit better than Stoke. We created more chances than them, but on the day they went up 1-0 and we couldn't put one goal in the back of the net. And then a few other bits I said, and that we need to learn with it. And then I of course spoke to the players individually, especially some of the players I maybe thought. I know I spoke to all of them, so to be sure if they were a little bit more, nervous or so we could use that experience. I think the Barnsley game, I think we were not nervous in that game. That was just a game against two teams that both have to win. Against the Barnsley side that's done very well since the restart of the season, and I think that's the beauty of football, because at 1-1 we had at least 2 very good chances where we could have won the game, and then we wouldn't be talking about it now. Now they won, so a similar process, because of course that was a little bit bigger hit after the game, because we never know what happened if we scored 2-1. Would West Brom have done anything to throw everything forward they have scored? Now we have that perception, and now we had the challenge and missed. Yeah, but there's things that could have changed. But anyway, I'm very proud, and I said that in the press as well, of the approach and attitude we showed to the first game in Swansea. We went down, I think we were the better side from minute 1 to the red card. And after that was a good thing, so we got that little irritation spark. And we used that, and my adrenaline never dropped from the first game against Swansea to the end of the second one.
In what ways then, Thomas, is this group of players stronger, having come through the disappointment of missing out on automatic promotion, and I suppose maybe better prepared to take that opportunity now?
And that you said exactly what I said to my players earlier today, but also after we missed out on the game against Barnsley. We now have an experience that we can use, and we can that could be extremely beneficial. That could be the thing that help us in the final tomorrow, because those small. So we try to find what kind. So it's all about when you play a final or decisive game. Focus on your task. Focus on your job as a player. If you're a left back, make sure this game you make sure you stop the crosses, or the passes you need to play are this. On defensive set pieces, this is your role. So focus on what you can do something about, and not all the other bits. And that's what we talked a lot about. And then when you go through the first 10 minutes, make sure you run, fight, and communicate, and then everything will be fine. And then it's still a game. I think we are 11 against 11, playing 90 minutes plus a little bit extra time. That's it.
Emiliano Martinez obviously feels pretty confident when he said that I think Fulham are fearing us because we've won against them 2 times and they haven't scored. Do you feel that Fulham are fearing you?
No, I'm 100% sure they respect us, just like we respect them. It's going to be an extremely tight game against 2 good sides. You're playing against a relegated Premier League side. And this is nothing. I'd like to strongly put this out. This is not a mind game. This is just a fact. They are a bigger club than us. They got relegated from the Premier last year. They got the parachute money. They got experience from the playoff final 2 years ago. They have more experience in their squad to play a game like this than us. But through Now 48 games. We are toe to toe again. We ended on the same points. Only, the difference was the goal difference. And yes, we beat them twice, and that can maybe give us a little bit of confidence or extra. But we know we play a final. That's another story. Are we going into that final where we believe ourselves? Yes. I'm always talking about that attitude. We need to go in there confident but humble, because we know we need to run, we need to work, we need to work hard. So it's going to be hopefully a tough game to watch against two of the best teams in the championship that both respect each other and both know on the day they can beat the other team.
Obviously, Emiliano's comments drew a bit of a reaction from Kevin McDonald, notably on social media. I just wondered, do you feel it's good when Emiliano is showing that kind of confidence, or do you worry that those are words that at some point he might end up regretting?
No, I think it's one of these things where in this modern world, but also on social media, that of course will spark something in the Fulham dressing room, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the difference. If it's going to be a difference between the two teams, it'll be on the day, because there is a lot of good players on both sides that can decide that game. And does it give Fulham more determination? I think, and I expect both teams' players on the pitch. If you say you have an index 100, and now you can't be 150. But you can only be 100 as maximum. I expect all 11 players who's starting in both teams will be index 100. I don't think you can be even more in a final like that. So that'll be a lot of talk about back and forth. End of the day, two very good sides, respect each other, that are believing themselves, that are going into that game believing they can win, and of course we believe in that as well.
Emiliano also said about promotion elevating the club to being one of the best in the world because of the status of the Premier League. Is that how you see it, Thomas?
I know that we all, of course, dream about that. There's no reason to go into that final without having the aim to win it. So of course we have that, and we have big ambitions and big dreams. So I would love to talk a lot about Premier League when we won the final when we win the final on tomorrow night, and I can speak about disappointment if we lose. But before that, I'm only speaking about a top game we're going into that we're looking forward to playing.
Finally, then, for me, how do you feel about playing this game at Wembley, albeit an empty Wembley Stadium? Because unfortunately the fans still not allowed back in.
Yeah, of course. It will be a top experience, because you're going into a game where we know everything is on stake. There's no reason to hide for that. Will we be a tiny bit nervous tomorrow? Yeah, we will, because I think that's natural. If you don't have that butterflies in your stomach, and you don't have that feeling, then you're not in the right place, and that will be the same for both teams, both coaching staff, both staffs, of course, both clubs. Chief exec, everyone would be a little nervy going into that game. That's natural, and we look forward to that, and we can't wait to play that. And the cherry on the top of the cake, that would have been with the fans. Of course, we all know that is one of the biggest games in the world.
Thanks, Thomas, and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Ian.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Ian.
How are you?
I'm fine, you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So it's been over 70 years since Brentford were in the top division. How much is history a big driving force tomorrow?
History means something, of course, especially because you can. After each game, before each game, you always have opportunity to write a new history for the club, and of course, this is a little bit more defining game for the club. We all know that. So of course, that means something. That is not 2 years ago we were there. So hopefully, we have even a bigger hunger and determination to go there. But for me, that's a part of it. But the big thing is that I'm together with a top group of staff members and a top group of players that just so badly would like to see win that game and go into the Prem. So that's my biggest drive.
Probably the hardest thing I have to do tomorrow is tell somebody they're not playing. We spoke yesterday to Emiliano Marcondes. He's probably fighting with Josh Silva for a place in the team. How hard is it to tell a player who's giving you everything all season that they're not starting in the biggest game of their life?
That is the part I really don't like about this job. And I hope that feeling never will go away, because then I lost my human touch on people. So no, that's the heartbreaking thing, especially when you feel there's a lot of players that, or maybe in this case maybe it's only a couple that they actually deserve to play that final or start that final, but you can only pick 11. You need to be honest, not too many words. They don't want to hear that anyway, and say it's a feeling, it's a gut feeling, and that make sure he's there for the team and ready to come on and finish the game off.
Who's it a bigger game for tomorrow, you or Scott Parker? You're very different people, but you mentioned Fulham are a bigger club with a more experienced squad and probably expected to be in this game tomorrow when the season kicked off a year ago. Maybe you weren't when you lost at home to Birmingham on the opening day. So who's it a bigger game for?
Honestly, I don't think you can say it's a bigger game for. I think it's totally even or equal in that parameter. I agree with you. If you look back a year ago, I think that Fulham were favourite to go back to the Prem. I don't know where we were, but the fact now is that we're even, and there will be two teams that will come flying out and try to take the advantage over each other. But I think there's no doubt about what Scott and I will say. The one of us who will be the winner, what you will say, will be happy with that, and then you will write that story, and the one who loses will be sad, and you will write another story.
You've got a brilliant defence, and the goalkeeper is on the Golden Glove, and you've got up front the BMW that people have spoken about for the whole season. Who has to be at their absolute best to win this tomorrow? David, Raya in goal, and Pinnock and your hands or your front three? Or is it genuinely everybody?
I think when you play a final and you play against a good team, where I think it's before the game starts, I think it's totally even. I think it's on the day performance that matters. If you hit that top performance on the day, and it needs to be a team performance, because the funny thing, if you've seen us flying in this season with some top performance, then everybody played to minimum a 7, 8 out of 10, and maybe 1 or 2 to a 10, and that's what we need to aim for and hit tomorrow. I'm confident that we can do that. So I say it'll be the team.
And finally, the biggest game of your life as a manager. How do you sleep ahead of these games? I mean, are you going to sleep well tonight? Are you going to be going through the game 100 times in your head? What are you going to be like when you turn the light off ahead of this tomorrow?
Call me tomorrow morning. No, of course, we know that. There's no reason to hide that. This, of course, is the biggest game. Of course it is. I know when I finish my press conference today with you guys, I've done my work. I have maybe 1 hour more for preparation, then I'll go home, know everything is done, wake up tomorrow, looking forward to the game, go through the game one more time in my head, do the last bit of planning, find the final word I want to say to the lads before we in the final meeting. And with all that, planned, so I know we are in a good place. We're taking care of everything, so I'm pretty sure that I will sleep well. That's what I normally do. Will I be a little bit nervous tomorrow? Yeah, of course. I think that's natural. That's the players. Will you be a little bit nervous? Yeah, I think you will. That's a human reaction. We'll be ready for it. 100% we'll be ready for it.
Good luck tomorrow, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, Phil.
Hey Thomas, you mentioned obviously that you will have to pick an 11, but this is a squad game and it always has been for you all season and during your time, hasn't it? How important could the bench be tomorrow?
Very important. I think it's we saw that actually last time I played Fulham where it came two players from the bench onto the pitch and make the difference. But there's a lot of other situations where that happened in the season so far, and this could be a very, very tight game through 90 minutes and maybe longer time. So that means we need all the energy and all the manpower we have in our squad need to be available. So it could be very likely that a player who's subbed on will decide the game.
And there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, throughout the season of the players that have stood out and the performances that have stood out. For you, throughout this whole campaign, which now goes to 49 games, who's been the unsung hero? Who's been the people that maybe haven't been credited by us, maybe in the media or other people enough, do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I think you actually covered the most of them, but if I should say one, I think, and I'm not reading all the articles or following everything, maybe one, Rico Henry, I would say. I think we speak about the BMW. We spoke a lot about Christian being the last puzzle thing. The 8's been good, Josh Matchy, Emmy. Henrik we spoke about with his experience, Pontus and Ethan, David. So we haven't had before this season a left back the last 4 or 5 seasons in Brentford that played more or less all the games. We knew that Rico had that top potential, so the last 3 seasons he played 11, 12, 13 games. Now we're playing his 49th game tomorrow. I know that I'm actually saying that he's starting. I know that's a big surprise. And he has been flying, and I think it's been a big improvement of our team this season. And I think he's oh my God, he's aggressive. He's so annoying to play against, and he's getting better and better offensively. So he must be the unsung hero.
What's the mood been like on the training ground over the last couple of days? Is it excitement? Is it focus? Is it just I don't know, maybe a desire to get on with it, get out there and play the 90 minutes and all that pent-up energy that exists going on?
I think it's been a good combination of the 3 things. I think it's been the smile, mood, looking forward to play this final, focus, because now it's the final game. It's not maybe playoff and then a final. It's now. So that's good. We can't wait to play, and I'm so glad we don't have 14 days before we're playing that playoff final, which we normally do. I think after that semi-final, and I guess it's the same with Fulham. I don't think that's much different. Just want to play that final. We just want to get out there. I'm glad we had 4 or 5 days more to prepare, so everything has been done in a nice, calm and good way. I've not done more. Not done less than we do normally, but make sure everything is covered, and we're looking forward to play.
The last hour, a lot of managers have said the last hour before kick-off is almost one of the worst times for head coaches, because the warm-up's going on, the coaching staff are doing what they need to do, you've got maybe 5 minutes further in the dressing room before they go out. What do you do with yourself in that hour before kick?
It's true. It's you've done what you can do. So they are there doing so last 20 minutes they're still in the dressing room. Either walking around, maybe sometimes a minor chat with a player. Sometimes if there's a thing I just want to reinforce. then I normally have just 1 minute before they go to the pitch for the warm-up, just the final, not tactical, but just, that's where maybe a lot of time we speak about that team, because when we get the team 70 minutes before kick-off, they're already starting their prep and all that, so I know just before we go out, that's where they're relatively calm and they can get in the 3 bullet points I have maybe. And then when they go on the pitch, I stay in there, maybe take a coffee and try to relax and don't let the mind or the thoughts flying too much. Stay focused and just go through the last final words I want to say to them before they go onto the pitch.
And just finally talk about relax. I don't know if you're superstition or not. When it comes to what you wear on the sidelines, there's a lot of discussion about how managers look. We always think you look sort of fairly relaxed yourself as you're heading out for an evening at the marina. I mean, is it important to be sort of, dressed in a way that you feel comfortable as well, so you can give across that sort of image that you're, see perception that you're sort of in control?
Yeah, I think it's important to wear what you feel relaxed in and feel good in. I know I've been wearing everything from training suits to a suit to jeans or what you call it, and pullover, sweater, a jumper. But yeah, I agree. I think it's important that you feel relaxed and you do what you do. And I don't want to spend too much time on it. I think it's Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook who wear the same clothes every single day, so you don't need to use brain capacity to think about that as well. And